Hello viewers, myself Anusha M. Gowda, student teacher of B.Ed first year of KLE Society College of Education, Ankola. So before going to our topic, let me ask you all some few general questions. First, name some metals you all know. Yes, iron, gold, silver, aluminium, copper, etc. Second question, is gold lustrous? Lustrous means shiny. Yes, gold is lustrous. Third question, what is magnet made up of? Magnet is made up of iron. Which metal is present in thermometer? Yes, mercury is present in thermometer. Last question, which metal is used in making pencils? Lead is used in making pencils. So, what are all these elements collectively called as? Any idea? Yes. So students, in today's class, we shall study about the chapter 4 of class 8, that is materials, metals and non-metals. So, can you observe the picture here? What do you observe here? Yes, it's a compilation of all the chemical elements. So this table is called as periodic table. This periodic table contains several elements along with atomic number, electronic configuration, etc. So why am I saying all this about periodic table? It is because in this periodic table, out of 92 naturally occurring elements, 70 are metals and about 22 are non-metals. So what do we understand? That in periodic table, there are 92 naturally occurring elements. Out of that, 70 are metals and 22 are non-metals. So apart from metals and non-metals, there are some elements which show both properties of metals as well as non-metals. So what are they collectively called as? They are called as metalloids. Some metals like gold, silver, platinum, etc. are found in free state. Some metals are found in combined state like oxides, carbonates, etc. For oxides, we can give example of CaO, that is calcium oxide. MgO, that is magnesium oxide. Carbonates have examples of CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate, and sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3. Some non-metals are found in free state like helium, neon, argon, etc. So what are these helium, neon, argon called as? They are called as noble gas, that is group 18 elements. So, some non-metals are found in free as well as in combined states like sulfur, phosphorus, etc. So, what do you observe in this picture? Yes, you see picture of metals. So, earlier we came to know that periodic table will contain 70 metals. So, what are these metals? Yes. Any class of substance which is characterized by high electrical and thermal conductivity as well as by malleability, ductility and high reflectivity of light is termed as metals. So, what is metal? Substances which are characterized by high electrical and thermal conductivity, that is, they are good conductors, as well as they are malleable, ductile and they have high reflectivity of light. Approximately 3/4 of all known chemical elements are metals. The most abundant varieties in the earth crust are metals itself. They are aluminium, iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, etc. The vast majority of metals are found in ores. What are ores? Ores are nothing but naturally occurring minerals containing valuable constant for which it is being mined and worked. So can you give some examples for ores? Yes, hematite and magnetite are iron ores, pyrite and bornite are copper ores, sphalerite, zinc blende and calamine are zinc ores. So the properties of metals depends upon unique configuration of electrons, protons and neutrons. But a few such as copper, gold, platinum and silver frequently occur in free state because they do not readily react with other elements. So can you all see the picture here? Yes, This shows picture of non-metals. So what are non-metals? In the elemental form, non-metals can be gas, liquid or solid. They aren't shiny, whereas in case of metals, they are shiny, that is lustrous. Non-metals do not conduct heat or electricity. Usually, their melting points are lower than that of metals. Non-metals are close to noble gas configuration. So, they usually make few bonds to few neighbors. The noble gases make no bonds and they are monatomic. Halogens make one bond to one other atom, etc. This means that they don't have usually extended structures. So this type of extended structures we find to see in diamond and graphite. What are diamond and graphite? Diamond and graphite are called to be allotropes of carbon. So let's move on to the next concept, that is physical properties of metals and non-metals. So can you see the table here? This shows comparison table of physical properties between metals and non-metals. So let's look into the comparison table and see the properties of metals and non-metals. So metals are solid, whereas non-metals are solid, liquid and gases. Metals are hard. Exceptional cases are sodium and potassium. So, do you all know why sodium and potassium are stored in kerosene or paraffin? It is because sodium and potassium are highly reactive to moisture and air. They readily catch fire and lot of heat is released during this reaction. So, they are stored in kerosene and paraffin. Now, moving on to the comparison. Non-metals are solid, which are brittle, among which diamond is hardest. Metals have metallic luster, whereas non-metals do not have luster. They have dull luster. Metals have high melting points and boiling points, whereas non-metals have low melting points. Metals are malleable, whereas non-metals are not malleable. Metals are ductile, whereas non-metals are not ductile. Good conductors of heat and electricity are metals, whereas non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Exceptional cases are graphite. Metals are sonorous. What do you mean by sonorous? Sonorous is nothing but ability of a material to produce sound. Metals produce ringing sound, right? So, metals are sonorous, whereas non-metals are not sonorous. That is, they do not produce any kind of sound. So, after comparing all these properties, all these physical properties of metals and non-metals, what do you conclude? Yes, in general, we can say that metals are hard, brittle, sonorous, soft, malleable, ductile and good conductors of heat and electricity. Whereas non-metals are not sonorous, not that hard, not malleable, not ductile and poor conductors of heat and electricity. So, in the physical properties above discussed, you came across the words malleability and ductility. So, what do you mean by them? Yes, let's discuss about malleability and ductility in detail. So, what do you mean by malleability? Malleability is property of metals by which the material or a metal is to be flattened into thin sheets without cracking by hot or cold working. So you can see in this picture malleability of gold metal into gold sheets. Okay. So what do you mean by malleability? It is nothing but property of metal by which it is flattened into thin sheets. So let's see some more examples for malleability here. And you can see the video of malleability wherein the metal is turned into thin sheets. Okay. Yes. Moving on to the next term, that is ductility. So ductility is nothing but property of material by which it can be drawn into wires. What is ductility? It is nothing but property of material by which a metal can be turned into wire. So in the picture you can see the copper metal is turned into copper wire. Let's see some more examples of ductility. So in the video you can see how a metal is turned into wire. So this process is known as ductility. Let's move on to discuss about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So under the concept of chemical properties of metals and non-metals, we shall study about reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen and water, reaction of metals and non-metals with acids and bases, and displacement reaction. So before discussing about chemical properties of metals and non-metals, tell me what is chemical property? Look into the picture and understand the picture and later say me the answer. What do you mean by chemical property? Yes, chemical property is a characteristic of substance that can be only observed and measured by performing a chemical reaction or chemical change. So when do we observe chemical property? Only when the substance has undergone some kind of chemical reaction or chemical change. So let's discuss one by one the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So firstly, we are going to discuss about reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen and water. So what happens when metal reacts with oxygen? Any idea? Yes, metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxides. Okay, these oxides are basic oxides because they react with water to form base. So look into the example given below. Here they have given example of magnesium. Magnesium, when it burns in air, it forms magnesium oxide, that is MgO. So this MgO is basic in nature. It is a type of basic oxide. So this basic oxide MgO will react with water to form what? Metal hydroxide, that is magnesium hydroxide, MgOH twice. So observe the reaction here. 2Mg plus O2 give rise to 2MgO. So MgO is magnesium oxide, which is basic oxide. This MgO will react with water to form magnesium hydroxide, that is MgOH twice. So moving on to what happens when non-metals react with oxygen. Non-metals react with oxygen to form non-metallic oxides. These oxides are acidic oxides because they react with water to form acids. Okay, so let's see example here. They have given example of sulfur. Sulfur, when it burns in air, forms sulfur dioxide, that is SO2. This sulfur dioxide or SO2 reacts with water to form sulfurous acid or H2SO3. Now observe the reaction. S plus O2 give rise to SO2, that is sulfur dioxide. This sulfur dioxide is acidic in nature. It is acidic oxide. This acidic oxide will react with water to form what? Sulfurous acid, that is H2SO3. Okay. So in general, what did you understand? That metals on reaction with oxygen gives metal oxides, whereas non-metals on reaction with oxygen gives non-metallic oxides. So look into the short videos which shows reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen. For metals, they have given example of magnesium, and for non-metals, they have given example of sulfur. Okay. So, moving on to reaction of metals and non-metals with water. What happens when metals and non-metals react with water? Metals react with water to form metal hydroxide and hydrogen. What does metals form? They form metal hydroxide and hydrogen on reaction with water. Let's see the example. Sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Sodium metal will react with water to form what? Sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Observe the reaction here. 2Na plus 2H2O give rise to 2NaOH plus H2. Similarly, they have given example of magnesium. Magnesium reacts with water to form magnesium hydroxide and water. So look into the reaction here. Mg plus H2O give rise to MgOH twice plus H2. So now look into the short videos which shows reaction of metals and non-metals with water. So what do you observe? The example for metals are sodium and magnesium, whereas in non-metals there is no reaction with water. Then moving on to reaction of non-metals with acids. Then moving on to reaction of metals and non-metals with acids. What happens when metals and non-metals react with acids? Metals react with acids to form metallic salts and hydrogen. What metals form on reaction with acids? They form metallic salts and hydrogen. Let's observe the example. So zinc reacts with dilute HCl to form zinc chloride, that is ZnCl2 and H2. So observe the reaction here. Zn plus 2HCl give rise to ZnCl2. What is ZnCl2? It is a metallic salt, zinc chloride plus H2. So now look into the short video which shows reaction of zinc with dilute HCl. Most non-metals do not react with acids. Some non-metals like sulfur reacts with concentrated nitric acid, that is HNO3, to form sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and H2O. Observe the reaction. S plus 4HNO3 give rise to SO2 plus 4NO2 plus 2H2O. So let's move on to next reaction, that is displacement reaction. Can you all tell me what happens in displacement reaction? Fine. Displacement reaction is a reaction in which highly reactive or more reactive metal replaces a least reactive metal from its salt solution. What happens in displacement reaction? Highly reactive metal replaces least reactive metal from its salt solution. For example, magnesium replaces copper from copper sulfate solution to form magnesium sulfate and copper. So observe the reaction. Mg is highly reactive metal which replaces copper from copper sulfate solution to form magnesium sulfate and copper metal. Similarly, in case of iron and copper sulfate, iron replaces copper from copper sulfate solution to form ferrous sulfate, that is FeSO4 and copper. Observe the reaction here. Fe plus CuSO4 give rise to FeSO4 plus Cu. Fe is highly reactive metal which replaces copper from copper sulfate solution to form ferrous sulfate and copper metal. Now let's look into reactivity series of metals. How can we arrange reactivity based upon of metals? Based on the reactivity of metals, they can be arranged in decreasing order of their reactivity. So in this picture you can see reactivity series of metals. Right from highly reactive to least reactive, the metals are arranged in decreasing order. Now moving on to reaction of metals and non-metals with bases. Some metals react with base to form salts and hydrogen gas. For example, when aluminium metal is heated with sodium hydroxide solution, sodium aluminate and hydrogen gas is formed. Observe the reaction. Sodium hydroxide plus aluminium give rise to sodium aluminate, that is, it is a salt, NaAlO2 plus H2. Okay. Some non-metals react with bases but no hydrogen gas is produced. Moving on to the last concept of this unit, that is uses of metals and non-metals. Firstly, moving on to uses of metals. Typically, metals are very solid, very durable and very resistant to everyday wear and tear. They have been used for a number of purposes since ancient times and even nowadays. With technical advancements and number of other things, the use of metals are greatly increased. So some uses of metals are as follows. For example, for jewelry and ornaments, gold, silver, platinum are used. For building purposes, iron and steel are used. Iron and aluminium are used in utensils. Thermometer uses mercury and helps to monitor temperature. Insulation wire made up of aluminium. Aluminum foil are used for wrapping food items to keep it warm. In sweets, silver foil is used for decoration in order to attract everyone. The sweets are being decorated by silver foils. In order to avoid rusting, zinc is used for galvanizing. In vehicles, iron is being used in parts. And for making cable wires, copper is being used. Moving on to uses of non-metals. Non-metals is very essential for breathing as we respire oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. These are all non-metals essential for living organisms during breathing. Next is non-metals are used in fertilizers to enhance growth of plants in the form of NPK fertilizers. NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Non-metals are used in water purification process and non-metals are used in antiseptic purple colored solution which is called tincture of iodine, which is used to cure wounds and cuts. Lastly, non-metals are used in making crackers. I hope so that you all found this video lecture very interesting. Thanks for watching.